Hello, my name is Dr. Linda Gorman, and I'm a neuroscientist. Neuroscience is a really big word, but all it means is that I'm a person who knows a lot about the brain. I'm here today to talk to you about how you can make your brain healthy or make it feel good. It's really easy and anyone can do it. I love talking about brain health because it's spectacular, and spectacular means great. When your brain is spectacular, you're a happy and healthy person. Today, we're going to talk about brain facts. Brain facts are things that we need to know about the brain, and we need to know and understand some things about the brain if we're going to understand how to keep our brain healthy. Today's story is titled, Are Bigger Brains Better? And today we're going to look at some brains and try to decide if bigger brains are better than smaller brains. Now, in order to decide if bigger brains are better than smaller brains, we're going to have to be scientists. But don't worry, you're all scientists anyway, because you know what? Scientists ask questions. Do you ask questions? Of course you do. A scientist then tries to find the answers to the questions they ask, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, one of the things that I learned when I was studying to become a neuroscientist is that all animals have some kind of a brain because brains are actually part of a nervous system. And in order to be alive, these animals have to have nervous systems. So humans have brains, chimpanzees have brains, rats, crocodiles, frogs have brains, fish have brains, and even bumblebees and worms, they have what looks like a brain, but all of the brains are different. And we're going to think about why brains in different animals look different. Let's see. The job of the brain is to help animals to do behaviors that help to keep them alive. Behaviors are just things that animals do. So let's think about this. What are some of the behaviors that your brain helps you to do to stay alive? Okay, one of the behaviors that helps us to stay alive is eating food. Here's a cartoon of a boy eating spaghetti. He's a little bit messy. Humans eat food, but do animals eat food? Here's a picture of a cute little kitty that's eating some kitty food. Looks like the kitty's making a mess here too. He's spilling kitty food all over the place. All right, so if animals eat and the brain helps us to eat, then our brains and the brains of animals would be the same, right? Let's think about this. Here's a picture of a human brain, and here's a picture of a cat brain. Do they look the same? Nope. What's different about them? Think about that. Well, the human brain is bigger and the human brain is bumpier. The human brain is also rounder. So, okay, let's think about this. Both humans and cats eat. They both have brains, but their brains are different. What makes them different? Let's think about this. What are some of the foods that you like to eat? Okay, well, this little boy is eating spaghetti. I like spaghetti. Do cats eat spaghetti? No. So people and cats eat different food. Maybe that's why their brains are not the same. Okay, another behavior that helps us to stay alive is drinking. We have to drink things to stay alive. Water's really good, but we can drink other things too. Humans drink water and other liquids, but do animals drink water? Here's a cute little puppy drinking some water. So both humans and dogs drink water to stay alive. So maybe human and dog brains are the same because they both drink water. Hmm, let's see. Here's a picture of a human brain and a dog brain. Do they look the same? No, of course they don't. The human brain is bigger and bumpier, and the human brain is also rounder. Okay, both humans and dogs drink water. They both have brains, but they're different. Why? Do you lick water? out of a bowl on the floor? Of course you don't. Humans and dogs drink water differently. So maybe that's why human and dog brains are different. Okay, another behavior that all animals have to do to stay alive is sleep. Look at this cute little rat. Yes, I think rats are cute. Look at that cute little rat. Both humans and rats lay down and close their eyes when they sleep. So maybe a human and a rat brain are the same. Let's see. Here's a human brain. Here's a rat brain. Do they look the same? Nope. A human brain is way bigger. Plus, a rat brain looks like it's in a straight line, and a human brain is round. Okay, both humans and rats lay down and close their eyes to sleep. They both have brains, but their brains are different. Why? Let's think about this. When do you sleep? Usually at night, right? Okay, who knows when a rat sleeps? Can you think about that? Well, I'll tell you, rats usually sleep during the day. Do you sleep during the day? Are you asleep now? No, of course you're not. We usually sleep at night. Both rats and humans sleep at different times. So maybe that's why human and rat brains are different. Okay, so our brains help us to do behaviors like eating, drinking, and sleeping. These are behaviors that help us to stay alive. And we saw that animals do behaviors like eating, drinking, and sleeping to stay alive too. But even though both animals and people do the same behaviors to stay alive, our brains are different than the brains of animals. Why? Let's think about this. What are some of the other behaviors that you do? Okay, what are some of the other behaviors we do? Let's see. I like to read. I like to talk to people. I like to play video games. Don't tell anybody. But do you think that animals can do these behaviors? Do you think animals can do some of the things that you like to do? Let's see about this. Okay, so I can read and I love to read. And in school, people learn how to read. And pretty soon, all of you will be able to read and read a lot. But do you think animals read? Do you think this little cat is reading? It looks like the cat's reading, but cats can't read. Brains help us to read. And both humans and cats have brains, but cats can't read. Okay, writing. How many of you have used a pencil or a pen or a crayon to write or draw something? I would imagine that all of you have. Humans can hold pencils and pens and crayons to write. I don't think this cute little puppy here can hold a pencil to write, do you? Nope. Brains help us to write, and humans and dogs both have brains, but dogs can't write. So this is another behavior that humans can do that animals can't do. Okay, how many of you like to play video games? I know that lots of people like to play video games. Do you think this little rat can play video games? No, rats can't play video games. Again, brains help us to play video games. And even though both humans and rats have a brain, rats cannot play video games. That's another behavior that humans can do that animals can't. Okay, so we know that brains help us to do behaviors, and there are some behaviors that both humans and animals can do. Do you remember what behaviors both humans and animals can do? That's right. Humans and animals all have to eat, drink, and sleep to stay alive. The brain helps us to do these behaviors. So both animals and humans have brains, but humans can do behaviors that animals can't do. Things like reading and writing and playing video games. Dogs and cats and rats cannot read, write, or play video games. Now I'm going to tell you that the more behaviors that you do, the bigger the brain needs to be. So we saw that Our brains are bigger than animal brains. And now we know that there are some behaviors that both people and animals do, like eating and drinking and sleeping, but that there are a lot of behaviors that you like to do, that people do, that animals can't do. So let's look to see how doing more behaviors makes us need a bigger brain. Okay, so here's a drawing of a person, a cat, and a rat. Who do you think has the bigger brain? That's right, humans have bigger brains than cats, dogs, or rats. Why is that? Well, we already talked about it. Humans do more behaviors, and the more behaviors you do, the bigger your brain needs to be. So let's look at some real brains. Here's a human brain, and here's a rat brain. Who do you think has the bigger brain? Of course, the human. Now let's make the rat brain a little bit bigger so we can look at it. Looking at the rat brain and the human brain, what's different about them? What do you think? What's different about these? Okay, obviously the human brain is bigger, but what else? That's right. The rat brain, look how smooth it looks. And the human brain is all bumpy. Now, think about it. Does the human or the rat do more behaviors? That's right, the human does. Because remember, we can read and write and play video games. The rat can't do that. So if you do more behaviors and you have a bigger brain, why do you have a bumpier brain? Why do we have a bumpy brain? We could just have a bigger brain to do more behaviors. So why is our brain bumpy? Okay, let's look at some other animals. Here's a human and a human brain, a dog and a dog brain, cat and a cat brain, and a rat brain. Now, who do you think has the bigger brain? That's right, the human. And who does the most behaviors? That's right, the human. Now, who do you think has the bumpier brain? The human. And who does the most behaviors? Again, the human. So now let's look at some of these other animals, okay? Now, if we look at the dog, the cat, and the rat, the dog has the bigger brain, okay? And if we look at, like, let's compare the dog with the cat. The dog brain and the cat brain look pretty much the same in terms of bumpiness, but the dog brain is bigger. So that must mean that the dog does more behaviors than the cat. Now let's look at the dog and the cat and compare it to the rat. Well, both of these are bigger, so that means that the dog and the cat must be doing more behaviors. And then which one has the bumpier brain? Well, both the dog and the cat's brain is bumpy, but the rat's brain is smooth. So just in looking at their brains, I would say that the dog and the cat do more behaviors than the rat. So why does doing more behaviors mean that you have a bigger brain? And why does it mean that you have a bumpier brain? Let's think about this. Okay, so we all remember, where does our brain live? In our heads, that's right. So now we have to think about the heads of the animals that we've been talking about. So here's a cartoon of a human. Then there's a picture of a dog, a cat, and a rat. I don't know how they got all those three animals in the same picture, but it's pretty cool. So which one of these animals has the biggest head? That's right, the human. And does anyone remember who had the smoothest brain? That's right, it was the rat. If the human's brain was smooth, it would be a lot bigger. Look at this cartoon. You would need a huge head like this if your brain was smooth. I want you to try something. If your brain was smooth, our head would have to be huge. To get an idea of how huge, take your arms and put them over your head and touch your fingertips to make a circle around your head. If your brain were smooth, that's how big your head would have to be to do all the behaviors that we do. Now, do humans have big heads like this? Nope. Why do you think we don't have huge heads like this? Well, let me ask you this. Would you like to walk around all day on two legs carrying this big head around? I don't think so. So In order to do all the behaviors that people need to do to stay alive, eating, drinking, and sleeping, and to do all the other behaviors that we do, like reading and writing, playing video games, playing musical instruments, playing sports, all the other things we do, we would need a big brain. But we also need a small head so we can walk around and carry our heads around. So our big brain has to fit into our little heads. That's why the big brain, it folds up on each other and it gets all bumpy. I like to do behaviors. So I think that a big and a bumpy brain is definitely better. So thank you all today for being scientists with me and helping me to figure out whether or not bigger brains are better. And actually, it's not just bigger brains, but we know that bumpier brains are better because in order to have a big brain and still keep a small head, the brain has to get bumpier. I've enjoyed spending time talking to you today about your brain, and we now know that bigger and bumpier brains mean that animals do more behaviors. Notice I didn't say that bigger and bumpier brains mean that the animal is smarter. They're not smarter, they just do more behaviors. All animals have a nervous system because the brains keep animals alive. When animals do more behaviors, like reading and writing and playing video games, they need bigger brains. Because humans can't have huge heads or they'd fall over all the time, they have bumpier brains. And bigger and bumpier brains are better for animals if they want to do more behaviors. All animals have to eat, drink, and sleep, so all animals have a brain. But humans tend to do more behaviors, like reading and writing and playing video games. So human brains have to be bigger and have to be bumpier. And bigger and bumpier brains means you can do more behaviors, and behaviors can be fun. And doing lots of behaviors help your brain stay healthier. And we know that is spectacular. So thank you all so much for your help because brain health is not just spectacular, it's fun too. And of course, we'd like to thank the people at Johns Hopkins University for helping us to figure out why bigger brains are better. They've helped us to do all of the stories in our Brain Health It's Spectacular series, and we want to thank those people, especially Dr. Ron Daniels, for helping us to put this together for you.